Right. Beltane's blessings. Thank you so much. Today is an incredible day, being May 1st. In Alberta today, I woke up to the sun shining, the birds literally chirping in my window. And I've been doing a lot of walks with my husband the last couple nights, which is wonderful not to be working at night. And I just said, this is it. This is me coming into my favorite time of year. In Edmonton all week, it's going to be between 23 and 29. I love heat. In my meditation this morning, my guide said, Priscilla, this is your time. You can literally go outside every single day and absorb golden rays to remember who you are. So fun that we're 6 weeks into spring, which means we're 6 weeks away from summer, and we're at this exact cross quarter point. Beltane itself is very, very connected to Atlantis. Of course, right now it's connected to, Celtic traditions. But the more you understand about Ireland and the Tuatha De Danann and, the people of Bridget and such, those are all wonderful Atlanteans. So when the Atlanteans got through their trauma of the Great Fall, and as we talked about earlier last year or late last year, how Samhain itself is actually, and Halloween is actually about Atlantis sinking, the Day of the Dead, represents all those millions of people that died when Atlantis sunk. And then how the day after that, November 2nd, really starts celebrating life once again and this ability to create something anew. When we come into Beltane in the Fire Festival and about union, this is the Atlanteans saying, we are here, we've planted seeds, let us celebrate like we did in the homeland. And when we talk about fire, we're actually really connected to Mount Atlas, right? So Mount Atlas was to have been slated as the tallest mountain on all of Earth. It was on the island of Poseidia, which is the main state of Atlantis. And the letter A is said to actually be an homage to Mount Atlas, where, here's his peak. And where the cross is, that's the clouds. That's how far he goes up. And so when we're talking about fire festivals and honoring that inner passion and that strength and that courage and that creativity, a lot of it is connected to that of the Atlanteans because they had created such a memorable civilization that it continues to influence us again and again and again. And through, what gets channeled through me and my teachings, everybody that I think I encounter gets to know their Atlantean self in deeper ways. And as we go through this year in the Galactic Temples of Light, plus those of you that are in the journey through Chem, you get to really heal that trauma, that shame, that doubt, that insecurity of whatever happened to you or happened through you, perhaps in Atlantis, and you get to really embody the path. And as I come more into my abundance in claiming it, right? Not necessarily creating it, but really claiming it because it's already here, then I feel like each of my students will have that same opportunity. And I have some really big goals in my head that I know are going to come true, that then I can share with you as a gift of gratitude and thanks. So Beltane in this type of year or time of year happens to be one of my favorites because most of us right now on the call are Canadian. We do have Americans that will be on the replay today. But, our winters are long, typically in Alberta, but our summers, like we don't really have spring. And so spring has already happened. And technically our weather is now going to be summer from here until about the end of August, maybe to mid-September. So whatever you like about the season, whatever really fires you up or brings you joy, it's important that you keep activating yourself like that. So today after class, I'll be doing my Qigong and yoga practice outside because that's how I want to be filled with golden light. It's a little bit chilly for me to do it, at 7 a.m. But right now after class is going to be the perfect time. So really thinking about what grounds you, what brings you joy, and using the energy of the season of Gaia to bring forward even greater blessings. Now, what's also interesting about today is that besides being Beltane, Pluto's also going into his retrograde. And of course, it's no surprise. He does this every year towards the end of April, for those of us that's been on this journey, we've been doing it since about 2020. This is a very normal thing. But today he actually enters his retrograde. And so that's very, very potent on the day that he enters his retrograde. And it'll be about 5 or 6 months later when he comes out of his retrograde. That's going to be very potent. So today, tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to be very, very much in these Pluto energies. And Pluto is like the shadow, the underworld, the death, the transformation. And because he's in Taurus, what I had shared from Forever Conscious was that what could really be in the spotlight and perhaps in death is issues around currency, money, and power. And something we've been hearing about is how the American dollar itself is dying, how the Chinese, I think it's the yen, is increasing, but how everyone's coming into their own frequency about money, and they're going to stop being so much on about the American dollar. So that's going to be a huge shift in our world. And then just acknowledging, since he's been direct for the last 5 months, where have you been experiencing transformation, death, rebirth? We are in spring. This is still the process that's happening. Now, the last thing that we're going to be working with today is also Mercury conjunct the sun. And it means that we're going to have new clarity around all that's trying to communicate with us. So today is an incredible opportunity for you to receive direct and clear communication. So when we think about Mercury being in retrograde, we often think of miscommunication, misunderstandings, things getting tied up. I actually have three friends that have had car issues, flat tires, motor issues. That's very common with Mercury retrograde. But it's almost like today there's like a little reprieve from it. Today, with it being in line with the sun, instead you have this very, very clear golden light going through Mercury and eliminating the fog. So we get to choose today, what is it, besides the questions we already asked Atlin, for those of you that were a part of the share before, what else do you need clarity on today? What answers are you seeking? What things have been kind of rumbling in your head? And then setting those intentions. Before we start into the meditation, I just want to read a little bit about some of the things I'm working on with Green Tara and through Kaya Ra's 8 Days of Abundance with Green Tara. And today we were talking about how the self-love virtue of prosperity heals miserliness, which is a hard word for me to say, but it's kind of like a Scrooge. Okay, so a miser is someone that just really clings tight to everything and will say something, and I've said this many times before, I can't afford it, therefore I can't invest in myself. I would love to take that course, but I can't afford it. I would love to put my children in that, but I can't afford it. And that puts like the limit down instead of understanding that I can recreate that moment and instead flood in abundance. And I'm not talking about a lottery or a sweepstakes, even though that would be amazing too. I'm talking about switching something within myself to really align everything. So she says, instead of terrorizing yourself with lack mentality, that's what we do. We do terrorize ourselves with lack mentality, fear, and this overall general miserliness. And the reason it feels so painful is because it's not who we truly are. We're not lack, we're not fear. And so when we go into those really difficult times and we're cycling and the brain keeps saying all these things and our energy drops and our vibration drops, it's painful because that's not who we are. Who we really are is abundance and prosperity. It is not what we attract. And this, I really, really love this. Today's probably one of my favorite things because, years ago I worked through the, whatever that book was called, something about the secrets of the universe or the law of attraction. And she says, you can't attract what you already are. You are it. You don't need to bring in this and this and this. You just have to embody what you already have. So she says, we choose what we believe. And I believe that I am abundance itself, because that's where my soul came from. If you think about your soul being literally one of trillions of other golden lights that come from Source, Sophia, God. And that is abundance. And how can we not be that? And it's just not this lesson I did with her today. She doesn't talk about it, but the other lesson she did, like this matrix is set up to really, really limit us and program us into this scarcity and even into the point of aging. And it's something I'm thinking about a lot this last 2 weeks, because I've just been floating around different places, that we're not supposed to age at the rate that we are. The bodies that we have right now are capable of living thousands of years. At the minimum, they're capable of living 300 to 400 years. But even in times of the Bible, which means we're talking, the Genesis is really about the story of Atlantis. Okay. So around that time, we already have the Atlantean beings living past thousands of years into tens of thousands of years. Now, I used to think that Queen Atlanta, I only embodied her for about 4,000 years, but I've already seen it on Earth. I understand I've been her for about 30,000 years at least, plus all the other times I've spent in other realms with her. So she's a very eternal being, as are you and your higher self. So she also talks about that we have to choose to remember that we're creating our moments in every single day, so that if you create the dream that you want, then you have to walk it every single day, and you have to see it and you have to feel it. Living an abundant life in all dimensions. And we know this about ourselves through our travels and through our classes, is that when we meet other aspects of ourselves in the past, in the future, and other timelines and other realms, there's so much abundance. And that's why I do a lot of that golden tendril connection, is taking those parts of you that are already living at a higher vibration and bringing them to this part of you that's in the matrix. She says, all comes from the divine, and I am divinity itself having a human experience. We've heard that in other ways, but if you know that you're divine, if you know that you are made in God's image, that your Holy Spirit is connected to Christ's light, to God's light, to Sophia consciousness, then it's true. So I'm going to say that again. I am divinity itself having a human experience, but it is the trauma of not having enough, of being in lack, of being in fear, that gives us, that helps us forget who we really are. And that takes us further away from the revelation of our power. So many of us get caught chasing sacred fires of initiation versus being in the prosperity consciousness that we already embody. I said, I am ready to move forward and boldly create what I'm ready to create. Let's close our eyes for anybody that wants to feel that. Putting your hands in your heart, repeating after me. I am ready to move forward and boldly create what I'm ready to create. I am ready to move forward and boldly create what I'm ready to create. I am ready to move forward and boldly create what I am ready to create. The true heaven on earth is when we embody that our soul is already living in this body. We are the bridge of heaven on earth. And we can choose to live it as soon as we raise our vibration and stay in that vibration. I'm literally a child of abundance in human form. I have so much abundance in my body, from my blood cells to my bone marrow, to my healthy bones, to my heart, to the functioning brain cells that I have, to this technology that we're using right now, whether we're on our phone, whether we're on a computer. That's abundance. Many people in the world don't have that. To the food in our kitchen, in our fridge, in our freezers, in our cupboards, to the roof over our heads. And when you continue to expand that out, I'm abundant with the makeup in my bathroom, with good makeup, beautiful makeup that makes me feel regal like a queen, to the toys my children have in this house. Maybe it's not toys for your children are older, but what do your children have that's ridiculously abundant? To the clothes that are in every closet that I have to switch out from winter to summer because my closets can't hold them all, to the towels in my linen closet, to the jewels in my jewelry stand, to the crystals and books in my office, to the journals that I write in. I am abundant. What are you abundant in? Start to make a list right now for yourself. Maybe of 10 things in your home right now that you're abundant. And while I was in the bathtub, I have a little succulent there that's in sand. And I said, I'm abundant in sand in a bowl. Look at how much sand I have. Look how many grains of sand. And then once you get outside of your home, then you can say, I'm abundant in the love that surrounds me from family and friends and clients and students. And even for me in the dance community, it's so much love. So just feeling that. When we say, I can't afford it, what we're really saying is, I'm not worthy. I am not enough. It's good for everyone else, but it's kept from me. That was my thinking in 2022. Somehow I got with Saturn, I got in a very, very low period where I said, and my students know this, that anything I touch won't be successful because that's my vibration right now. And then, of course, it became true. Versus the opposite of where I'm at right now. Perhaps it's more like anything that I do with other people will bring more abundance for me and for them. It's a co-creation. It's the creation of Nicole and I doing this retreat together, of Maria and I having Atlantean Legacy Company together, of my students that are joining in Egypt to experience that abundance. Everyone has an opportunity to pivot through the virtues of self-love. Everybody, not others, everybody. And she says, there is an immaturity in our spiritual awakening where we first really cling on to very, very loose concepts that are told through others, through books, through distractions. But when we learn to invest in ourselves, then we come into this beautiful maturity of understanding that we are already sovereign, that there's nothing that's keeping us from being free in our finances. So I'll just share this and then we'll get a little bit deeper in meditation. But this is what Green Tarot said to me today, and I'll just modify it a bit. Blessings, beautiful daughters. You are shifting in miraculous ways. This is the beauty of ritual, practice, and devotion. Many keys are awakening within you, and you have nothing to fear. Instead, recognize all the abundance that is overflowing in your life, including the water you bathe in, cook with, and consume. And now your favorite time is here, where there is an abundance of golden rays to activate and heal you. This is what you wait for all year, and you have not another second to wait. Go forward today in light and know that so much more exists. Taking a deep breath. Now for our meditation, because to me it's centered in Atlantis, we are going to be in Atlantis today. And I think that you all have the vibration that we've opened many times before, that I don't have to journey you there. You just are there. And you're there now in whatever your highest form was at the time, whatever your highest form of being an Atlantean is. And that doesn't mean that you are an Atlantean. It might be that you're from Lemuria and you're there as a Lemurian living in Atlantis. But be in that vibration, because as I call forward Queen Atlanta, she's not there as that broken queen of Egypt she ended up being thousands of years later. She's there in her most golden form. And on Beltane, and at a time of year that she loves, she is even more golden radiance than before. Can you do the same thing for yourself? We're all different. We don't need to look the same or dress the same, but I want you to really put on or see yourself in the most amazing way, whatever that means for you. And some of us, that's going to mean that you're going to be naked because that's how you feel the best. Naked with some flowers, maybe, or some gems, or your mermaid tail, whatever it is that you want. Queen Atlanta said to me today, everything you are doing now is a combination of what you've ever known. None of it is new. It is just being remembered. And when you really see how easy manifestation is, then you can release your grip on it. You can just trust that what you put forth, that is grounded and from the heart, that truly wants to help uplift and enliven others or inspire others is going to come forward in the most beautiful way. And then we'll see how easy it is, knowing that you have the energy, or sorry, that you have everything that you need. You just have to utilize it. So whether you love crystals or oracle cards or books or walks in nature or ankhs or whatever it is that gets you grounded, you already have it. You've already been living it. You've picked the perfect area for you to live in to support these. Whether you have to move houses or not, you're still in the same area of what suits you, and everything there is meant to support you in your path. You are not lost. You are not alone. You are literally a part of this great human civilization that started in Lemuria, that transferred to Atlantis, that went to Egypt and spread out throughout the world. And we are all a part of that. And then she says to rise like the queen that you are. It's okay if you don't know what you're the queen of, but I guarantee you are a queen of something, a high priestess of something. You are devoted to something, and that's what your soul keeps doing. For those of you that I've done Akashic readings with, think about what's come through in there. What was the 1 or 2 gems or nuggets that you got from it? Who are you? Through our meditations, through our classes, who are you? I've been making fun that often when we travel to Atlantis, that Queen Atlanta takes me and shows me her robes and her headdresses and her crystals and her tridents. And I say, that's nice. That's nice. I get it. But I was still missing the point. The point was all of that is mine now. Her and I aren't different. We're the exact same soul. And so she's showing that to me to show me what I already have. I just have to reclaim it. And once I do, the universe will bring me opportunities to purchase it, or it'll gift it to me. Now, with the gems I'm wearing, I said that they're expensive gems. One of them was nearly gifted to me. Atlan, who is my most prized possession, was gifted to me at a discount of 60% off, 60 to 70% off. And I have another one that was seriously gifted to me. That is abundance. And it's just part of who I am, is these are my tools. They're not everyone's tools, but these are my tools. And then having one of my own students, Karina, gift this to me at a time when I needed it the most, when I understanding really what a mala practice is, and going through 27 times of the Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha, that mantra that liberates the suffering, that brings us into abundance. That's my new practice. That's what I'm devoted to until something shifts me out of it, until I'm fully satisfied with it. But that's where I am right now. So we are in Golden Atlantis, and it is Beltane. And the Atlanteans 6 weeks ago celebrated the Festival of Earth, which is spring. And in that Festival of Earth, it's like a 2-week celebration, and there is music, and there is art, and there's dancing, and there's just so much joy and celebration. And now we're here 6 weeks later, and we're at this festival of fire, of unity. And so let's gather in a central city square or town square, where there is a momentous and beautiful white cauldron. It's a white and gold cauldron and an incredible golden flame. So this isn't a campfire. This is just an eternal fire. It's one of the eternal flames of Atlantis. It is the golden flame of Atlantis. And really what this flame is about is unifying abundance consciousness to the being we are in any lifetime, unifying ourselves with the one that Creator is, unifying our bodies with what is our divine counterpart, whether that be masculine or feminine, unifying the intimacy of those relationships that we have. And so as you stand in front of this golden flame, which has a very beautiful heat, much like a hot summer day, Allow the golden radiance to pour through you and go through once again what you are truly abundant in. I am going to read through this one part of the key code from Green Tara's chapter in the Sophia Code. I now recognize and activate the 11th aspect of key code 3 within me. I am the one who creates abundant prosperity and freedom. I stand as a living bridge between the formless and the world of form, meaning between your soul and body. My wealth consciousness is a formless inheritance that I now manifest as physical prosperity, supporting my reality of heaven on earth. So when we not only think wealthy, but we live it and we breathe it, we create our heaven on earth. We no longer have to suffer and be separate from heaven. I lay down all attachments and vows to physically suffer in a poverty of spirit. As I say this, I ask your soul to surrender and release any lifetimes in which you suffered in poverty of spirit, of abundance, of freedom, and to release it to the golden flame, to release it to the golden flame. Taking a deep breath in, release out. I live in a quantum universe that is designed to fulfill my every heart's desire, as spoken by the power of my word. I self-actualize the freedom of my wealth consciousness for the liberation of all beings. Take a deep breath in. Release. I'm going to say this 2 more times. As I do, keep unloading into the golden flame anything that's not of unity, abundance, freedom, connection, consciousness. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. I stand as a living bridge between the formless and the world of form. My wealth consciousness is a formless inheritance that I now manifest as physical prosperity, supporting my reality of heaven on earth. I lay down all attachments and vows to physically suffer in a poverty of spirit. I live in a quantum universe that is designed to fulfill my every heart's desire, as spoken by the power of my word. I self-actualize the freedom of my wealth consciousness for the liberation of all beings, for I am the one who creates abundance, prosperity, and freedom. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. I am the one who creates abundant prosperity and freedom. I stand as a living bridge between the formless and the world of form. My wealth consciousness is a formless inheritance that I now manifest as physical prosperity, supporting my reality of heaven on earth. I lay down all attachments and vows to physically suffer in a poverty of spirit. I live in a quantum universe that is designed to fulfill my every heart's desire, as spoken by the power of my word. I self-actualize the freedom of my wealth consciousness for the liberation of all beings. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Take a breath in. Release out. As we stand here in the beauty of Beltane, having released these vows of poverty, these things that were never meant for us to be clinging on to, we instead bring in celebration of spirit, of your life, of what's already shifted for you since the turn of the wheel, right? So we're truly in the 2023 energies. We're in the new year. We're still fresh in the new year. If you're on the astrological calendar, we're 6 weeks into it. What's happened for you since March 21st, 22nd? Where have you shifted in your thinking, in your courses, in your classes, and where you live, and what you're giving and what you're receiving? Now, today is May Day, celebrating fertility and new life. What you've created, what you've planted, where you are. During this time, Earth's energies are at their strongest and most active as life is bursting with fertility. This is Now, if you're living in BC or on the West Coast, your trees are already blossoming. In Alberta, they're just starting to bud. And it's so beautiful. Spending time as you walk by the trees is what I said all weekend. Welcome back, friend. I see you. I love you. I can't wait to see you in your glory. Many blessings. And I said that to each tree that I felt a connection with. Bursting with fertility. The green grass is up. Wildflowers are beginning to grow. Bees are coming back out of their hibernation. It's a very, very beautiful time. It's also said that the sexuality of life and energy of the earth is at its peak. So for those of you that have a partner right now, celebrating tonight with divine union, with knowing that you are creating in this moment all the abundance and prosperity that you seek is yours. And using that divine life force to create even more is incredible. If you're not with your divine one, how can you use the energy from your sacral chakra as a woman in your womb space? How can you bring it up and down through your chakra system to enliven you, to bring in more prosperity? Now, Beltane is also associated with the goddess in her maiden form, for she is ready to grow in renewal. She is the renewal made manifest. This is where we see the young May bride with the young oak king fall in love, and the union is consummated, and the goddess becomes pregnant, representing the union of earth and sky. No more separation, no more sleeping, no more hibernation. The fire festival means the bright one. Bright fire or goodly fire is a way of Beltane. And the bright ones across the planet were the Atlanteans. They had shining golden hair or radiant copper hair. And wherever they went, they brought light and enlightenment to others, not by forcing it, not by demanding it, but by being a leader, by inspiring others to work with numbers, to work with the stars, to work in alignment with the universe. So as is the tradition, now I want you to remember, as an Atlantean, you're much taller than what our current human forms are. I'm very much coming into the conclusion that the giants that we find all over our world in skeletal form are actually ancient Atlanteans that are still in their form. And so one of the things that we're going to do is jump over this golden fire. And as you do, you are ready to cleanse and purify. So no matter how big the fire is, you are totally capable of jumping over it. And if you feel like you need help of your dragon or your unicorn or something like that, please feel free, but be fearless. When you're ready, decide what you're letting go of as you jump over the fire. And if the flame just tickles you for a moment, know that it's meant to purge. Deep breath in. Bound off the earth. Jump over the fire. Feel yourself in this weightlessness, in this floating, in this ability that you could even go higher if you wanted. You have some hang time. Release anything that's not for you. And then when you're ready, you land and you ground. You ground. From there, we're going to make our way to the maypole. The maypole is the divine masculine and the feminine, where the pole represents the phallus, that which gets injected into us to bring us this spurt of life and beauty. Whereas the ring of flowers represents the divine feminine, where we hold, where we are the chalice, where we receive. And so it's not just for children to go around the maypole. It's us in this divine sisterhood to celebrate one another and each other. And as we go around and around the maypole, picking perhaps our favorite color of ribbon that represents our soul's essence, we celebrate our sisters who are launching programs, who are teaching, who are bringing in new love into their life, who are moving across islands or the country or to different provinces, who are getting ready to open their businesses, who are finding bigger and better boundaries to heal themselves, in loving themselves and choosing themselves first over that of a big family and friend pool. Just celebrating, think about everything that we celebrate in our group chats, and just feeling that joy of all of us sisters going around and around and around. The green around us is growth, abundance, and fertility. The red is strength, vitality, passion, and vibrancy. The white is the cleansing and clearing, the dispersion of negativity, while the silver represents the goddess and the moonlight. As you go around, Goddess Artemis, herself an Atlantean high priestess, comes forward. Patron and protector of young girls, worshipped as one of the primary goddesses of childbirth and midwife. She is a maiden because she never wanted to marry. And instead she comes forward with you, going around the maypole, being joyous, being carefree, being another sister. But she asks you once again, what would you like help with in bringing birth to? What are you fertile and pregnant right now that you want help with? Remember that Artemis is one of her best gifts is her focus and ability. So she has an arrow that at the end of it has kind of like a golden ball. And that golden ball represents whatever it is you're creating. Like I said, whatever you are pregnant with right now. That golden ball, that's what it represents. Now she's going to string it into her bow. And when she releases it, it's going to land at exactly the point that you need to birth it into creation. Whether you need help finding a perfect location, a perfect name, a perfect price point for something, whatever it is that you need. It's like when the arrow hits the target, that golden ball is going to burst open and the answer will come. So I'm just going to give a second. Focus on what you're seeking. She pulls it back. We breathe in with her. And then we release. Boom. Right on target. It explodes. And explodes with abundance, with generosity, with fluidity, with knowingness, with confidence. I'm just taking a moment to write down what Artemis just put forward for me. Now she just goes back to laughing and back around the maypole. She's feeling so good. The other goddess I asked to come forward is Hera, the Greek goddess or the Atlantean high priestess of love, marriage, and childbirth. For those of you seeking divine union, allow her to bless you. For those of you that have already found it, allow her to bring even more chemistry, more beauty, more love, more understanding, more patience, more passion, more connection to you. She is the goddess of monogamy, love, and fidelity, associated with the peacock, the lion, and the cow for their beauty, regalness, and sacred feminine aspects. As Hera comes forward, she comes forward teeming with the colors of the peacock, emerald greens and blues and golds, embodying Atlantis itself. She is a queen of Atlantis. And as she comes forward, she asks, what is it you want a blessing on today? And it is the same I see Queen Atlantis standing with Queen Hera, and they ask if they can afford you a double blessing. So it's like making 2 wishes. What do you want to be blessed with? And when you're ready, just take a deep breath in and release. Now, from this beautiful town square, I also welcome in God Hermes, High Priest Hermes or Mercury. Now, as I said, he comes in on this power day. Today is the power day where new insights, facts, and information can be revealed. And so wherever our cloudiness has been, especially with miscommunication, Hermes now comes, if you allow him, to heal your throat and your crown. And as he places those hands there, he begins to lift away any distortion from the throat, from your mouth, from the words that you speak. And anything in your mind that has been bogged down, clouded, heavy, or unclear. He too utilizes the energy of the golden flame of Atlantis to bring forth this clearing, this activation. And in this moment, he brings us a download of getting very, very clear on a vision, not on what you're manifesting, on what you already are, what you've already created, what you've already put into the universe. And it's just divine timing to bring it to you at the exact moment. Just breathing with Mercury in and out. I am the light within and light surrounds me. I am the light within and light surrounds me. I am the light within and light surrounds me. Mercury is going to continue to clear those areas. And in fact, I see him really going to the back of your brain where things might have gotten stuck. And so he's just going to gently pull out, like almost like pulling a thread that perhaps was clung to like a ball. And he's just going to unravel it, release it. Now, since we're aligned to the energies of Beltane, union, passion, and nurturing, how can we use the healing of our shadows, of Pluto being in Aquarius, to truly bring light and balance? Pluto is also known as Hades. Hades is also a high priest of Atlantis, of the Alta Ra. And so as he begins to enter our space, there's no fear. He's offering further alchemization of a deep transformation happening within. He shows you in many ways as he's walking forward to you, his right arm spinning around and around the circle, cycles of death and rebirth, where you've fallen, where you've risen, where you've done it all over again, where you've surrendered, where you've clung, where you've achieved, where you've rested over and over again. Fire that burns to destroy, that helps the ashes rise into something new. Pluto is our subconscious, the skeletons in our closet, the things we have swept under the rug, the part of us that awakens at 3 a.m. and can't sleep again. He is our deepest desires, our deepest fears, our deepest subconscious programming. And what have we chosen to do on this day of Pluto retrograde? Come to class. Listen to the effects of Kaya Ra's teachings of abundance, transforming the lack mentality into what is our true nature of abundance, prosperity consciousness. Death is stripped from us as rebirth is awakened within us. Whatever we have let go of, lost, or shed is now transforming into the birth, into the seeds, into the new sap, into the growth. We are awakening with Gaia, with the birds, with the animals. And every time you notice a baby duck, bird, a fawn, whatever it is, a rabbit, notice that fertility in your life. This is the first time Pluto is in Aquarius in over 200 years. And he is here to expose and transform issues relating to big business, materialism, the finance sector, as well as laws and regulations. Now, so many of these things were set up not for the common man, but only for the elite. But Pluto is here to change it. He is our friend. And as he comes forward, we're going to see big transformations relating to technology, to artificial intelligence, to community, to humanitarianism, to people. And there's nothing to be afraid of. All you have to do is know yourself, know who you are, and keep on the line that you love. Keep sharing your gifts. Keep coming back to what made you happy as a child and what makes you happy now, and connect it. That person is not missing. That part of you, that 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old is still living inside of you. And she or he has become so proud of who you are that they celebrate you every single day, more than you celebrate yourself. There's going to be a move of power from the top-down structures, from those elites, to more community and people-driven power. This is a time to create community, to work with your sisters and brothers, to bring forward your passions and your teachings. Now, as he comes towards you, he is activating a transformation in an area of your life. What is it that you need to let go of obsessing over, of being addicted to pain, to poverty? What do you have to let go of? What are you shedding? What secrets are going to be exposed? How can you quit questioning your life or your life purpose? To let go of the power struggles, to bring yourself truly into greater power and knowingness, and to investigate anything that fancies you, because it is your soul's calling. As a result of Pluto's transformations, our goals, dreams, and freedoms are also going to be transformed. It is another gift for us from Source at this time. So Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Tanaz has predicted this. Tanaz, who writes Forever Conscious, has predicted this. Imagine it, see it, feel it as I read this. A move away from individual leaders to leadership groups. a greater push to express your individuality and authenticity, a transformation of top-down power structures in business and government to the people with a greater focus on community building. We come into more group think. What is good for the group? What really helps everyone? Technology and an AI boom. We're already seeing this from them writing scripts to posts to creating art. AI has definitely been taking off in the last 6 or so months. Technology companies gaining more power, but a lot of exposure of the ones that aren't for the people. Big tech companies falling from power. Metaverse, Twitter, those type of things. Microchip technology, experimental or revolutionary ideas and technologies. Revolutionary developments in medicine. Think about all the things that doctors can't help you with and only say, here's a pill for it. See that as banished, but coming back to earth in true ways with crystals, with sound, with toning, with singing, with lasers, with food as thy medicine. New approaches to medicine using sound, airwaves, and lasers. The growth of alternative healing practices. If you are a healer, know your time is coming. Our time is coming. If you are a teacher, your students are coming. They're already here. Decentralized currencies or the mainstream cryptocurrencies. A new internet called Web3, one that doesn't have dark or constricting areas to it. Ownership of online content with a stronger emergence of robotics and artificial intelligence. Those are the predictions. How beautiful. Taking a deep breath in, releasing. With Pluto here, before we close our meditation, is there anything you want to give to him to help you transform? Anything left that you've been clinging on to that you know has to die and surrender? So that you can really, really harness the energies of Beltane and this eclipse gateway that we're in. And if you don't know what to do, then we just say, Pluto, I gift you anything that is not for my highest good and is no longer serving me, so be it, amen. And all I see is him pull from behind his back a tiny little puppet, a shadow puppet. And it's something that you will work through in your subconscious to bring to light. You don't have to be afraid of it, but when it comes through, notice, that was the gift from Pluto. And I'm grateful I'm able to see it and heal it. So in gratitude to Artemis, to Hera, to Hermes, to Pluto, to Queen Atlanta, to your higher self, to the frequencies of Atlantis, to the golden flame of Atlantis, I say thank you. Thank you. And I say thank you to Kaya Ra and Green Terra for their teachings and their love. Just breathing in and out, being in gratitude. I want you to raise your arms above your head. Seal in the golden light from the golden flame or from the sun. Bring it down for yourself. And let us repeat. I am not manifesting abundance, for I am already abundance itself. I am divinity in human form, and so it is. Amen. taking this time to ground into your physical space. In gratitude for all of you that are going to practice it on the replay, thank you. Many Beltane blessings, many blessings forward. Let's use this week as a week to reclaim all that is ours, to live in it, to see it, to breathe it, to feel it, and to continue to with the practices that you know are really good for you. And it's okay to shift in and out of practices. If something no longer aligns with you, then put it to the side for now and commit fully to whatever is aligning with you. Last time I say, Om Tare, Tutare, Ture, Soha. I am that I am. And so it is, Amen.